have to make this video as I complete my math homework because these clowns on YouTube have gone too far. And they're always clowning around. YouTube is like a circus. They're always clowning around non-stop. They never stop clowning around, making a lot of incorrect statements. But I saw one just the other day that was too far, which is that they said, these clowns, I will quote them, they said that the male body is more attractive than a female body objectively, which is incorrect objectively. It is an abhorrent statement to say that. It is absolutely incorrect. The male body is like a carbon copy of an action figure. It's boring. The male body is boring. There's almost nothing sexually attractive about the male body. The male body is just like a robot. It's like a machine. It's just like a piece of flesh. That's why when a woman is attracted to a male, they call them a hunk. Like that means like a big chunk of meat. The male body isn't even attractive. It's just that females have certain hormones that make them more attracted to a masculine presence. And females aren't even that attracted to the male body because the male body is just like an action figure. What's interesting about the six pack? The six pack isn't even sexually attractive. I have a six pack and it's boring. Like the only attractive portion of the male body, according to most people, is the chest, both according to males and females, aesthetically, right? This is a superhero physique sort of thing. Captain America and Superman have large chests because they're superheroes. The heroes have these large muscles that show they're heroes. The biceps are alive because the biceps can easily be fat. Okay, a woman who is fat will have large, fatty arms. There's women who haven't worked out who have bigger arms than me, and I work out all the time just because a woman is fat. Okay, so the big bloated arms of a gym rat don't really look attractive. They don't really present the picture of strength, which is what a strong, well-developed chest does. Not a fatty chest, but a muscular chest. And the thing is, a muscular chest that puffs out is an imitation of the female breasts, cleavage. My wife said to me that she was noticing my chest get bigger as I work out at the gym. She joked that it's almost as big as her breasts, which shows the standard, which is the breasts. The breasts are the most attractive body part compared to, even you could say the male chest is supposed to be the most attractive part on the male, is just a pale imitation of the female breasts, which are more attractive. There's a reason why there are so many artists that are constantly trying to capture the female form. There's a reason why there are men who spend their lives painting women, whereas women don't do the same for men because the male body is boring. If a man has a strong, muscular body, it just shows that he is fit to be a hero. He is fit to be a soldier. He is capable of protecting his family. That's all it shows. You see a strong, muscular man, that's all it shows. For a woman, what it shows is that she is breedable. She's very breedable, lovable, fertile. You could put babies into her. When she has these large hips, those can give birth to babies. When she has these massive buttocks, those show that she has this feminine fat ratio, which differentiates her from males and is a symbol of nature to show that she's ready to breed. Is one of the main distinguishing features. It's supposed to be one of the main distinguishing features between a girl and a woman is this massive lower body because that's what puberty puts women through. The female body is adequately superior in every way to the male body when it comes to the most attractive female. Obviously, there's going to be females that have terrible bodies. Their bodies look masculine or anorexic or bad. They have no figure, they have no hips. It's because they're failing to fulfill the female ideal body type. When they hit the ideal, natural, fertile female body type, that can't be beat by some action figure. The action figure is boring. The action figure is just boring. Have you watched Demon Slayer? And then they have all the scenes where later on the Demon Slayers are training, and because they're short, they're like midgets. They easily get this muscular physique, right? And if you're that short, you're 5'2". Of course, you go to the gym for like 5 months and you have that physique because you're short. You go to the gym for 5 months, you eat some protein. Wow, you look like a Demon Slayer all of a sudden. Here's the thing. They look boring. The six packs, pecs, everything. It looks just like they're copies of each other. They look boring. Now, of course, similar things are done with females in anime because anime is lazy when it comes to animating these females. The females have these lazily put together bodies that look very similar to each other. Their faces too look like they're all sisters. But the thing is about these animes that they're not exactly correlating with real life. In real life, when a man gets a muscular physical body, fitness influencer, they all look the same. They're just a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, taller, smaller, a little bit wider, a little bit less wide. But with a female, it's like there's so much nuance to her body, to the curve of her back, the curve of her spine, and how that correlates with her glutes, with her hips, right? And the amount of fat on her body, the length of her thighs, the length of her legs, right? All these things correlate together to create a unique specimen with a woman versus a man where it's like, okay, this one has a wider chest, this one has wider clavicles, less wide clavicles, blah blah, wider shoulders, less wide shoulders. It's boring. With the female, there's so many things that protrude on the female body. The man is just these handful of muscles that you can just put into like a muscle suit, okay? What they do for superheroes on TV, they use a muscle suit. And then these people have these you know, muscular bodies that look boring. But like when you have a female, it's like for someone who's trying to clown around like these trannies pretend to be a female, they have to put huge lumps of fake stuff into their body. Either they inject directly into their buttocks, the BBLs, or they get the whatever the breast surgeries and they get fake plastic boobs. They have to put huge amounts of effort into imitating the female body. For a tranny FTM, all the FTM has to do is get muscles, and then they're just missing a penis. If an FTM goes to the gym and maybe hops on steroids, that'll help. Then they basically have the look of a man. Of course, if they have a very sort of feminine back, their back is very curvy, then that causes some problems. If their hips are very wide, that causes some problems. But since most white women have terrible physiques when it comes to looking like the ideal woman, African women are just superior in most regards. Even other types of women, like Arabian women, other women that are not white, for the most part, tend to have just better bodies than these misbred white people. Probably the Jews have been breeding these white people to make the women have less wide hips and just look like they're boys, which is just terrible and not attractive. Because boys aren't attractive. Girls are attractive. Girls are cute. Girls have these cute bodies. Boys aren't cute. Boys are like imps. They're annoying. They're irritating. At best, a boy is like a future man. A boy is like a soldier, a young man. That's what a boy is. But a girl, women stay girls when they become women. You want to pick up some girls, they can be 25 years old, 30 years old, 15 to 30, or whatever. Girls are girls throughout their life. I even find older women to be girls. Older women that I'm attracted to, that I want to be in a relationship with, who are like 40 years old, I see them as girls. I see women who are way older than me as girls. And men usually see women as girls. But seeing a man as boy, when that's disrespectful. Just a man today was telling my class, my teacher, that he calls officers, police officers, boys to disrespect them. It's a disrespectful term to call someone boy. I called my older brother boy because he called me boy all the time. And then my mom and dad were like, don't call him boy. That's disrespectful. It's disrespectful to call a man boy, but it's cute and sexy to call a girl girl. Okay? If it's disrespectful to a man for another man to call them cute. It's like a disrespectful thing. This is like the whole sort of a constant checking of how masculine you are. So if you're not masculine enough, you know, you will be called something feminine, right? That is the way it is in this world, right? That's the idea, this sort of constant ego battle to prove how masculine you are. But with women, if a girl calls another girl cute, that's a straight up compliment, right? Or pretty. If a man is called pretty, that is an insult. Like pretty boy, that's a double insult. It's a double insult, right? And it should just be a simple term, a simple definition of someone who's attractive. And the thing is, for men, it is very possible to have like an attractive face on a man. Okay, it's very possible to have like no blemishes on your face and to have symmetrical facial features, etc. Right, clear, wide eyes, um, eyebrows are straight, heavy eyebrows. I have those kind of eyebrows. But like, that's the face. Okay, the body, right? The body. Women just have it in spades. They have the better bodies. They're more attractive. People are obsessed with the female body, how attractive it is, to the point where people on the radio talking about what's the term, boobs, butt, or thighs, right? Whereas with men, it's like, oh, the girl says that he's cute, period. How? She likes his eyes or something, or she likes his chest. Like, what the actual F? Men just get the short end of the stick because they're meant to be the men with sticks, which is what they are. They're the soldiers, they're the machine. They are the lesser version of the female in terms of their beauty, in terms of their physical capabilities, they're superior. In terms of the beauty, males are inferior. In terms of the beauty, it's just a fact. This is a fact. Right? And I'm a handsome man according to my wife and many other people in my life, and according to the way I get treated by females, and according to the way I get treated by a lot of people, I guess I'm a handsome guy, but it's kind of boring because I never noticed it. Because like for a girl will notice from a very early age what's attractive about her and if she's attractive. If a girl's not attractive, she's fat or she's ugly according to people's standards. You could tell by her demeanor that she does not notice that she's. I mean, she notices that she's not attractive, and so she acts according to that. You'll notice this with girls who are less confident, they're less chipper, they're more quiet, or they're very compensating. They're exceedingly kind, they're exceedingly nice because they have this inferiority complex from knowing they're unattractive. They're unattractive because that's like the most important thing for a female. So those females have harder lives comparable to men because they're not attractive. For a man can be very attractive, such as me. Apparently, I've been very attractive and it's just that girls bite their lip and they don't react as much as they possibly can. They try to ignore you, and like my wife was saying to me literally before I got married to her that when I was doing push-ups in the corner of the room, maybe I was shirtless or something. She's like, oh, she thought I was very attractive, very handsome. She literally said she tried not to look at me. She didn't look at me, you know. I s- Whatever. As a man, men stare at girls all the time when they're attractive. It's nice to see something that looks nice, right? But for women, it's like they are trained to hide their attraction, which is bullshit. It's an impure world. The world is impure, full of liars, deceivers, knaves. I'm the brave one. I'm the one who kind of saves people from this because I've been very truthful. Sometimes to my detriment, but it's only to my benefit that I've been so truthful with these liars, these absolute liars. Okay, I've been so truthful. And I've noticed just the way they act. They are deceptive. I'm constantly showering my wife with praise for her beauty, you know. And as for me, I can see when she's attracted to me in her face or in the way she starts acting and talking. But she doesn't say it most of the time. It's just a difference in the way we act. I mean, sometimes she notices, oh, this part of your body got bigger, your chest got bigger. She notices it every once in a while because I've been putting in the work every single day for hours a day. I'm a fitness maniac. So of course it's going to actually happen. But there's a difference in the reassurance from society that comes when it comes to females and males of their attractiveness. For a man who's talking about male bodies being more attractive, it's this kind of copium. Maybe it works for someone to believe that, but it's just untrue. Females are more attractive. Females are sexual receptacles. Females are the life of the species. Males are inferior. This kind of Jewish shit, like what do you call it? The Jewish femboy bullshit, psyop, the Jewish tranny psyop. Trannies are inferior to females. Trannies can't be made pregnant. Being made pregnant is the purpose of life. Being made pregnant is the purpose of having a wife. If it can't be made pregnant, it's not a woman, basically. If it's a barren woman, then she's struggling. That means she has a harder life, period. Is that not true? If she can't give birth to children, her life is harder. She's missing out on one of the best parts of being a woman. And in that regard, she's kind of like a grandmother already, who's already past her childbearing years, and she lost the best part of being a woman, which is a tragedy that she has to deal with. For a man, it's just about being a machine, and you can be a very good machine. If you see a man at the gym who has a better physique than you, it's not a cause for sexual attraction. It's a cause for how can I be him? That's why there's this him meme. You want to be him. You want to be that businessman who's very successful. You want to be the successful, stronger person at the gym. Why? Because you want to be strong enough to deal with the problems in your own life. It's this kind of idea of wanting to possess this ability, this strength, this confidence, blah, blah, blah. Those who are homosexuals, they probably have it confused in their minds, where trying to possess this ability of a man they consider superior to them ends up being confused into sexual attraction because people have these psychotic minds that start confusing things. That is how it goes. It's like a cause. It's caused by this low self-esteem sort of thing. This homosexuality is caused by this low self-esteem on the part of a man because every man has a need to breed. I don't care who they are and what the fuck they say. They need that. They need to breed. It's put into their head by nature. Okay, and everything else is this psychosis. It's like a mental illness of society to accept homosexuality as normal. Or like you could say bisexuality is a perversion brought about by Jewishness, by society, but it's still within the realm of what makes sense because it's just the homosexual side of a man who's bisexual is a fetish. It's a deviation from the norm of nature, but because he still breeds with women, it means he's still fulfilling his role as a man. So it's not completely in opposition to nature's goal of creating more life. Don't you understand these satanic people, these people who have been Judaized, are in opposition to life? They're in opposition to what makes humanity exist. They're not just somebody who's has a funny opinion. Like a man who likes feet is harmless because it's just some kind of fetish that does not go against the way of life. A man who likes a certain part of a woman's body is just a man with a fetish who likes women in a certain type of way, but he's still on the river, the current of life. He's following the path of life, which is making more children, babies. That's how we all exist. But for a man, even for the bisexual man or whatever, he still has this attraction to woman, this need to breed woman. That means he's still on the current, the path of life. But for the lying homosexual who claims to not be attracted to women, this is a liar who is on the path of no life, the path of no wife, no life, no wife. Okay? And that is why it's irritating because the Jews encourage these anti-life behaviors. They encourage all these anti-life behaviors: alcohol, smoking, drugs, suicide, meaningless work, overwork, like the American economy. There's work that needs to be done. There's trees that need to be chopped down so you can build houses and get firewood. There's water that needs to be gathered. When you even if you just live at your home, let's say you're someone who's like unemployed, you live with your parents or something. That's kind of like how I am right now, except I donate blood. But and I'm going to school, so I'm a student is what I would be. But For someone who is in a situation where they don't have much going on for them, which is a lot of people in America right now, because of the way the system's set up, they still have these tasks they need to take care of. They have to clean up every once in a while. They have to do their dishes. There's a certain amount of labor, a minimum that has to be done, right? Even in this modernized society, on a farm would be much higher. So the work that needs to be done on a farm is the necessary work for survival. Everything else, working 12, 13-hour shifts, working 70 hours a week, 60 plus hours a week, it's a Jewish invention. And the hard work stuff is a Jewish invention. It's good to work hard until the job gets done because there's always jobs that need to be done. But the idea that your only existence in life is to be a cog in the machine is kind of bullshit. You can be a cog in the machine of your passion, which should be procreating, breeding more women. Men should be breeding as much women as they possibly can. That's the purpose of life. But just like spinning some wheel at some job, if your job is just to, keep on turning tires and making more wheels, like this young man I knew who was a mechanic, if your job is just to fix cars all day, and that's a good thing to do, okay, you fix your own car, you fix your friend's car, you help some people out. You don't need to work for 12 hours a day. And that's a useful job, there's useless jobs. You don't need to work for 12 hours a day. But that's the kind of system they're setting up. We gotta work all the time just to have a life. Life, you do what you need to do in life. You gather the water, you chop the wood, you get the food that you need to eat. And then the society is being created where it's work or be slowly killed by these Jews. By work, I mean overwork. More work than needs to be done. More work than is necessary. I don't see any argument for the idea that there needs to be more than 6 hours of work done a day. Okay? The idea of an 8 hour work day is bullshit, I think. I think there doesn't need to be any more than 6 hours of work done every day to survive and take care of your family, especially if you're efficient and focused on the task. If you were on a farm, a small farm, would you really have to do more than 6 hours of work a day? Right? Maybe at the end of the day, you'd have to make sure you have all of the pens and everything close. The sheep and whatever these animals are don't get away. And then you just turn off the lights or whatever and you go to bed because everything would be done in the morning, which is the best time to get things done. You wake up at 6, you get everything done by noon, right? And then, you go to lunch with your family, you do whatever you're going to do. Maybe you come back, you deal with some minor chores for 30 minutes, and you're done because that's what makes sense. And I'm being sensible, I'm reasonable. Jewish society has everything upside down. It has the idea of work upside down. It has the idea of the relationship between men and women upside down. It has the idea of the value of sexuality upside down. The value of sexuality is in breeding. The sexualities that do not go towards breeding are inferior. They are inferior, okay? Period. Towards producing life. The purpose of life is to produce more life. Everything else is a fucking confusion. I've gotten a hand job from my wife. I've gotten things from my wife before, and just you could say experiment, and you could say sure, these sorts of things are like experimentation, which is fun. It's like a birthday party. It's like having fun. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you put the penis in the pussy and you shoot it like a gun, and you get the job done. Okay, maybe you screw around a little bit, and then just to be more excited so that it's easier in the very end to shoot it in the pussy and breed like an animal like you're supposed to do to procreate, to make your species fucking exist. Not all this fucking Jewish bullshit. I'm a very positive guy. I have held back even the worst of my criticism at this time. I have been very patient, lenient, and merciful with these Jews that I'm superior to for their diseased way of thinking. The diseased way of thinking is just terrible. Terrible. Anyway, I've purified this matter for all of you. I'll summarize it. The female body is objectively superior to the male body. It is the wellspring of life. It is why we have a wife, okay? It carries girls through their lives. A girl can just look pretty and her life is set. Can a man do that? No. Okay? The man, even the man who looks pretty, who looks attractive, has to strive through great difficulty, trials, and tribulation to be successful. Whereas the woman who looks pretty simply has to find, there's going to be hundreds of them, a man who wants to marry her. The woman's greatest struggle is finding a good man to marry her. There's lots of good men, even though Jewish society does its best to break down men, to make them into these lesser than they could be. Okay? There's lots of good men out there. And for a pretty woman, it's very easy for her to be set for life. And the problem is the Jewish diseases in her mind will make her more likely to act unfathomably idiotic, unfortunately. The thing is, for a man, the problem that they created, why there's some weird fetishes that exist, is for a man, the male personality has been made, which I think was a mistake on behalf of perhaps it's a mistake of this world. I don't believe this world is a perfect world. I think it's a fallen world full of great evil and saviors. And the problem is the female personality has been made objectively inferior to the male personality because the female personality, especially trained by society, has been created to deceive and trick. The personality of a young girl is a very good personality before she's trained by society to act in a predatory way, to act in a parasitic manner. Okay? The personality of a young girl is pure and sweet and perfect. The personality of children is pure and sweet and perfect. The personality of a devoted man, a hero of a man, is perfect, more or less, with minor flaws. But since he's a hero, he's forgiven for them. The personality of the average woman is littered with flaws. Well, at the age when she's the most attractive, between mm, 16 and 26, okay, is when her flaws are maximized. And I guess the more she gets into her 20s is the worse it gets. At 16, she's sweeter than she is when she's 24, okay, or whatever age. But she's most attractive in this middle age, and society makes it so that you are able to marry these women in your 20s, which is their worst age to get married to them. Um, they're fertile, yes, but they were fertile before they were 20, and their personality is the worst when they're 20s, in their 20s. Then when they're older than that, they become wiser, which men do too, right? They become wiser, more balanced. But the thing is, a man who's gotten a little bit of confidence in himself, if a man who knows he can do a job good, even if he's, well, a bricklayer or something, even if he's doing a very simple manual labor job, a man who knows he can provide for himself, which, some young men are in positions where they are financially insecure and uncertain of their abilities. And that's what brings about their chaos. Their chaos is that they are uncertain of how they're going to provide for themselves, which is survival, basic survival. And that's how they get into trouble. Their trouble comes from getting the confidence, the knowing that, okay, they can provide for themselves. And once they know they can provide for themselves, they know they can provide for a woman. And a man in that sort of position, 90% of the time, even with all the Jewish poison of society, will be the most devoted to women, right? The society has done its best, the Jews have done its best to destroy the character of man, which is meant to be devoted like a dog is to their owner. The character of man is meant to be devoted. Society has tried to make men bitter against women, and also make women to be as poisonous to maximize the flaws of females as much as humanly possible, so that men have good reason to be bitter. And they have these trannies on TV acting up to be the most insufferable bitches to make men hate women more. And they try to split these sexes apart by doing this. But the truth is that the personality of a woman is best when she's a very young girl and when she's an older woman. Those two extremes when her personality is the best. As for a man, a young man, he can hit his personality peak at an early age, a very early age, in fact. It is very possible, very common for a young man raised by a father who sets up the young man for early success by teaching him a skill early on, by giving him this confidence early on, to be able to shine by knowing his way in life very early and not suffering through chaos, right? That tests his personality in terrible ordeals. But for a woman, it's like because of the way they are raised and how they seem to know that they are desired, and they are taught by society, Jewish societies, to act in terrible ways, and then they have their hormones, which is a mistake by this fallen world, the design of this fallen world, where the woman's hormones or personality are designed to be toxic at times, toxic and difficult to deal with at times. This makes so that the woman is less reliable when it comes to this. The woman is less reliable when it comes to this, unfortunately. And it's up to the man to be a hero and to make things work, to carry the weight of the woman on his shoulders, to overcompensate for her flaws, to guide her to the path of light. It's up to the man to be greater. And so the virtue of the man is in his great character, not in his great body. The body of a man is inferior to a woman in terms of its attractiveness, but the character of a man, generally speaking, is superior to most women. There are exceptions, especially when it comes to older women. So it's in a man's character that he strives for greatness, not in his body. His body is just a machine. If my body has a nice six pack and pecs and whatever and biceps, those are used for doing work, for lifting heavy things, for helping people, but also they are symbols of power and strength. Lastly, they attract women, which allow me to breed them. The purpose of them, none of that in there is about them being the most attractive thing in this world, because they are far from it. My muscles are not the most attractive thing in this world. My muscles are part of this machine that is devoted to my mission, whatever my mission may be. So I had to refute this Jewish lie. The bodies of women are blessed by God when they have these wide hips and large, round, plump, fertile bottoms and motherly breasts and bellies that have the perfect amount of fat so you can kind of hug them, squeeze them like this one maid I used to hug from behind. That's the best way to hug a woman, to hug her from behind so you can feel her large, round, motherly ass pressed up against you. And you're hugging her around her belly, which should be soft, not like an anorexic tranny. There's not going to be a six pack on her belly because she's a woman. It's going to be soft and motherly. If she is just like a stick from the bottom to the top, it's like either she's a girl, which she can let it go because she's a girl, she hasn't gone through puberty yet. That's what it symbolizes. It's not sexually attractive for a woman to be a stick, okay? Like a boy's body. It's not even attractive at all. It's like you can't even hug that thing. It causes rage in me. It's like when I see a stick, I want to snap it in two or like just throw it around. That's probably what a Jewish scheme that make women look like these unattractive witches which is what Jews are. So that you literally just have this physical sort of visceral reaction. You want to throw them across the room. You want to beat them up like they do in all these Jewish movies, when they complain about domestic abuse. The body of a motherly woman, a grand motherly woman with those wide hips, that soft body, like a mattress. You don't want to harm a woman like this. You want to hug her all day long. A woman with a body like a fertile mother. You want to hug her and kiss her and stroke her hair. You want to hug her and never let go. The body of a stick. You don't want to hug it. This is like the body of a child that you're trying to lead. You're trying to lead toward greatness. Okay, young girls can be charming because of their personalities, but most of the time their bodies aren't there yet, which is why they're not attractive to grown men. Sometimes they are, or in which case they are very attractive. And God has made this distinction between girls and women for a reason. And God has made a distinction between boys and women for a reason. This is the wisdom of God, of the greatness that exists beyond this fallen world, you must understand. And none of these Jews are going to confuse my understanding of what is pure in this world.